Let's talk about curiosity. What makes you curious?
There are many incidents where I felt curious. So, I'll talk about my experience of 12th class. It was regarding election of a person for post of head girl. So various steps were there. First of all, there was public speaking, and afterwards an interview with the principal. I was very nervous because this was the first time that I have to speak something on the stage. But the time I got my topic, I was able to
Okay,
speak
fine.
fluent.
Do you think curiosity is a good thing?
Sorry.
Do you agree with the idea that curiosity is a good thing?
Yes, I think curiosity is a good thing because it actually increases the person confidence. The person started to think that how that uh, he has to execute that plan, as the same thing happened in my case. The time when I have to speak on the stage, I always think that how I will do that. First of all, I prepare myself in front of the mirror
Okay,
with my
fine.
parents.
What makes you overly curious?
I do not think that any incident has happened with me that made me overly curious. Yes, I have felt curious many a times, as every person feels that. That is a feeling actually in every person, and many incidents that has happened. But I never felt like something like overly curious.
Okay. Let's talk about parades. Have you ever participated in a parade?
Yes, I used to participate from first class till 12th. As on Republic and Independence Day, there is a holiday, and the person who or the student who participate in parade or in any other cultural activities, only they used to come there. So I have participated from first till 12th class, and it is a very good experience that we represent our culture, we represent our state there whenever we pass from
Okay.
in front. Yeah.
What preparations do you have to make when you have to participate in a parade?
Regarding the experience that I recently shared with you, we used to start preparations 1 month ago from the event. Our sports teacher usually help us in that, and the synchronization is needed in the row and in the columns in which the persons are moving. That is very much required as to look good. The public that really
Okay.
experience.
Now let's talk about dreams. Do you often get scary dreams?
Not oftenly, sorry, not often, but yes, I think dreams are associated with our daily activity. If we had have a bad day, then at that night I usually get bad dreams. Dreams are something that represents, as per my thinking, that represent that what is going to happen in the future. uh,
Okay. And what do you do when you get a scary dream?
Actually, it will sound weird, but I have read somewhere in ritual book, in Hindu ritual book, that whenever you get a bad or scary dream, you have to first of all discuss with your elder one in your home, and then you can tell it about that dream to the god that is in temple or any other. As I've told you that it is somehow represent our future activity. So in order to avoid that, in order to become that bad dream true, we should tell that, and it will never happen again in the future.
Okay, fine. Now, Prachi, I'm going to give you your card. You'll have 1 minute to prepare for it.
Just like a person who contributes to the society.
So your preparation time has begun.
Okay.
Okay, before you start speaking, I need to tell you something.
Hmm.
These cue cards are not made by me. So, whichever website it is, there is a grammatical error here. You do not put the article the before the word society. Okay. So,
Okay.
to society, not to the society.
Okay.
Now you shall start.
Okay. Every person has some work to do, and that profession directly or indirectly contributes to society. There are many professions like teaching, charity work, defense, and many others, but the most crucial that is required is defense. Actually, here I would like to talk about my father, who is a retired personnel from army. He used to work in Indian army and served for almost 25 to 30 years there. My father has lived in border area like Jammu and Kashmir, in Sikkim and Bhutan as well, and killed many terrorists as well. I think if army is there on the border, then only the public is safe. The army or defense work is very much required in any of the country in order to keep that country safe. Many people say that army person or defense person gets many type of facility like free canteen facility, free hospital, medical facility, but I think that is much required, because if these facilities will not be given by the government to the person who is serving there for almost 30 years without fearing of their life or family, as he is living away from the family and gets only 2 months holiday in a year, then no one will join army and our country will not be safe, right? So if I'll talk about now, even after getting retired from army, he indirectly served to the country. Like whenever he see that some person is in a need, he used to help. I will talk about the corona period, the pandemic. In recent 2 years, there were many person in his company, as he is working as a manager in security
Okay,
company.
fine. Why is societal contribution necessary?
The contribution to society is not necessary, but it comes from the inner self. If person believes in charity, in helping others, then obviously he will help others. It is not only about helping human beings. It can be the help can be in any way, like directly, indirectly to the society. I would like to talk about myself. I love dogs actually. So every time when I get a chance to help them, to give them food, then
Do
I
not talk
do that.
about, okay, wait. Do not talk about yourself, but about society in general.
Okay, okay. So here we can take example of any other person apart from us.
Do not take an example at all. I need a general justification.
Okay, so I can replace myself with person or people, right?
Yeah.
Okay. um, I forgot where.
Why is societal contribution necessary?
uh, Yes, the half of the answer I have already covered, and people contribute to society in many ways, like giving food to the dogs, helping the needy person, giving blanket to the poor ones in the winter. So it is very much necessary in order to make the balance between rich and poor. Yes.
All right. Do you think societal contribution is always without any self-interest?
contribute Contribution to society is not always without inner interest. In general, if I'll talk about the people who contributes to society, 90% of the cases, if they really want to, and rest of 10% of the cases are the rich people who wants to just show to the public that they are actually contributing. And those 10% people, if they are contributing, they used to calling media to showcase what they are giving to the poor ones and others. Recently, I saw a news that one of the actor from Bollywood is giving something to the poor ones in pandemic, and I think there was no need to tell about this public if it was from his inner self. It was just to showcase what he is doing.
Hmm. And do you think in the past people were completely altruistic, as in if they were actually doing for society something that they did not have any greed about?
I think if I'll compare nowadays, the days before 10 years, then yes, the people were completely different as they are now. People right now are much more greedy and just show that what they are doing for the society. 10 days, 10 years back, I think the media was not that much influential on the public, and there were not so many platforms where that can be showcased that what they are doing. So yes, the people, when they used to give something or contribute something to the society, then it was from the inner self. It used to give them immense pleasure. And now also the people who like to serve for the society, at that time they are serving without any greed.
This is the end of your speaking test. Give me 1 minute to analyze your problems and we'll come to them. Okay, I think contextually, wherever you were wrong, I corrected you, sorry, on the spot. I
Hmm.
was trying to get you on track
Hmm.
whenever the problem arose.
Hmm.
But linguistically, I was on purpose not interfering because that
Hmm.
would break the fluency off.
Yeah.
So, see, when I asked you the very first question about curiosity, so I
Hmm.
asked you what makes you curious, and you were talking about a past incident that could be referred to justify what used to make you curious or something. So, in general, the question was, um, the question was actually in general about your curiosity levels, but what you referred to was what happened in the past that made you curious at that point. So, slightly off track. I know there is nothing like task achievement in speaking, but in order for the examiner to know that you understand the tenses, he has to actually come to terms with your justification. If
Hmm.
it is in the present, the question, then the answer should be in the present, no? Only then can he understand that you are able to understand what he has asked.
Okay, but in the last, I refer like after retirement, also he is serving for the society.
It's about curiosity. It was your personal thing. I'm not talking about
Okay, okay,
uh,
okay, 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 okay,
the
okay.
first
So,
part, the first section.
the first question that was like curiosity. If I get to know in the middle of my answer that I'm going off track, can I refer it or explain it like right now also whenever I go to stage, I feel that curiosity or something like that.
Perfectly fine. And even you can, you can punctuate. Sorry, you can actually state that you were wrong. That is not an issue.
Hmm.
And state that okay, I actually got off track. You asked me about the present, and I was talking about the past. So you
Huh.
can rectify your answer. There's no problem with that also.
Okay.
It's many a time, not many a
And
times. Okay, you
while
had
speaking, I
yeah,
usually do this type of mistakes.
yeah.
Uh,
So after that, when you wanted to refer to this notion that in order to stall a dreams becoming true, you
huh.
use something in order to
What?
stop the dream, whatever the structure was. I do not remember it clearly, but it was wrong. So you could have
Okay.
said, in order to avoid the dream becoming true,
Okay.
then this is just your this was my time mapping. I had to measure the time, no, the q card time, 6:40 to
Okay.
8:40. Then
Okay.
uh, as in you pronounced this word personal. I'm not sure if
Huh.
that's the right pronunciation. It's personal, or so it
Uh,
could be that there are
Personal.
some.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, in my father's dependent card, it is mentioned army personal.
Not the spelling but the pronunciation.
Okay, so personal.
Personnel or whatever, but that so was actually awkward. I'm not sure, there are many dialects in the world, and
Uh-huh.
there could be a pronunciation that matches yours, but
Okay.
I would go for something that is more universal than the other. So
Okay.
remember, as in this is something I think is more prevalent, personnel or personal. So try to be with that when it's your exam.
Okay. Okay.
People who contributes, you said, but it should have been people who contribute. And when I
Con-
asked you to, you said contributes. That is wrong. No, people is plural.
huh. People who contribute. Okay.
Then when I asked you to compare two scenarios, you compared today with 10 years ago. That is hardly the past.
Yes. I just spoke what came into my mind. Sorry.
It's okay to actually rectify yourself. I'm saying if you continue the wrong answer, no, that is actually hazardous.
Okay.
Then that can showcase platforms that can showcase your kindness acts. You were saying something of this sort, but what you
Huh.
said was that can platforms that can be showcased. That is wrong. Platforms that can showcase your acts of kindness or something, that should have been the right structure.
Okay. And the second last thing before 10 years that I have said, like you were asking with the past, right? So,
Yeah,
what can be the answer?
as in you could have said in the past, if I go 100 years back maybe, or 80 years back,
100 years. Okay,
you
okay.
could have
Like,
gone there.
huh.
You could
Okay,
have
okay.
talked about the benevolence at that time. People were actually kind. As in, if I talk about my grandmother, she must have been born somewhere
Hmm.
around 1950 perhaps. So
Okay.
the kind of personality that she bore throughout her life is very different from what my deportment, my personality is. I could
Hmm.
actually look for self-interest when I'm doing something for someone, but she had that germ of being selfless. So, as in, that is the past that should have been compared with the present. You
Oh,
spoke about 10 years back, that was awkward. Hardly has anything changed, I would say, in this regard,
Uh,
especially.
right, right. Means without mentioning the time, we can say in the past, right?
Why to get confused because you have committed one error? It's okay.
Uh,
As in, it's not that since you have made this error that I will judge you an incompetent person. It's okay.
uh,
Accept your mistake. Why not to mention a year? Because you mentioned the wrong year. Should that mean that you should not mention a year? Not at all.
okay.
You should mention a year. Why not?
Hmm. Okay.
Because you have spoken a wrong year doesn't mean that you should eschew this responsibility now. That okay, without mentioning a year, can I do that? No, you cannot do that.
Okay.
You should not do that. Of course, cans are always there, but let's talk about shoulds now.
Okay.
Fine.
Right.